It has been a long, long night, and I'll tell you what, it's getting even colder now. But the crews we found overnight that we followed along, Michelle, an EMT, and Eric, a paramedic, are now off for the night. But they responded to calls tonight ranging from chest pains to car accidents. And we know when you call 911, it can be a scary situation, but it's not only scary for you, sometimes it can be scary for the people who come to your rescue as well.
I'll be honest, at times it can be scary, it can be very stressful.
The tension can be high.
It's a job where every single moment counts.
You got to act within seconds, and sometimes it's between a life and death scenario. And I can tell you that's happened a lot.
You know the lights and sirens when the men and women at AMR come to help you in your time of crisis, but this job is more than just a ride to the hospital.
We train a lot of people to do this job, and some don't stay with it because they don't like the type of job it is. And it's more or less the stress of the job and the things that they see. And that can take a toll on you.
Sometimes you can't leave the job at the job and you bring it home. And not having friends or family that are there to support you or understand and not get what you do on a daily basis, day in and day out, makes it very challenging.
A challenge that EMTs, paramedics, and the entire AMR staff tackle together. It starts with being ready to handle anything and keeping patients relaxed.
If you can give them that sense of calm and that sense of peace when you're in the back of the ambulance with them and they know that you're there for them, it makes everything 10 times better.
The men and women of AMR calm, collected, and clocking into work because they want to help you.
And that's what we're here to do, and that's what we love to do.
Right now, 8 deputies, just 8 deputies responded to about 70 calls and made 4 arrests within the 8 hours that they work overnight. And this crew is a younger crew, and they are very vigilant. They have to be proactive about their calls. We had the pleasure of riding along with Deputy Ray Nguyen, who's been with the department working in the community that he grew up in for 3 years now.
Austin at 8, DeVoe 6, Kennedy 3.
Each shift starts the same way. A group briefing, a uniform inspection, an equipment check, and then each night shift deputy hits the road. Tonight, Deputy Ray Nguyen is our guide. He chooses to work the overnight shift, even though it consists of a lot of traffic stops, which can be extremely unpredictable.
It is one of the most dangerous things we do. You're going up to that car. You have no idea who that person is, what they have in the vehicle, what they're running from, what they're trying to hide.
We start the night shortly after 11 p.m. with a DWI call. Just a few minutes later, Deputy Nguyen makes his first stop of the night, pulling a driver over for a loud muffler. Nguyen says he's not trying to stir up trouble when he makes stops like these.
We're just people, we're people too. We're just doing our job. We want to go home at the end of the day. We want to come out here and try to make it a safer place to live.
During these calls, several complaints have been called in for teens tearing up a parking lot. We catch up with them over the county line. One of them found with drugs.
A little bit of marijuana right there. There's some more blunt wraps in there with marijuana in the prescription bottle. You got your grinder here.
The other half of the teens questioned outside of a home.
So I guess I would ask for some honesty.
While tonight was relatively tame, not all nights are created equal.
You ever just scared going to do your job every day?
Not every day, but there's going to be many times in my career so far, and I've only been on for 5 years, that you are truly scared.
Katie, now I no longer need the bulletproof vest, but I kept it on just to show you what it looks like. And I'll admit, for the first time during this entire Overnight Hero series, I felt a little uneasy because having to put this on and going to areas I knew would be high and known for crime. The troopers told us there's a lot of stabbings, drug deals, pursuits on foot and in car. But you know what? We are in good hands with Trooper Shiri and Trooper Schmidt over here. They just got back from a couple other calls and they are just wrapping up their shift here. But you know what? We made a lot of traffic stops and those also turned out to be something else.
The area that we're in is well noted for a high crime area. Case in point, this gentleman right in front of us that failed to use the signal.
Trooper Dean Shiri and Trooper Mike Schmidt patrol high crime areas together in Niagara County. With 25 years of experience between them, they know exactly what to look for.
A lot of these minor things lead to, substantial arrests.
We found those minor things just minutes after pulling onto the road, things like windows tinted just a little too dark. That initial stop led to a lot more.
Your inspection's overdue, your license plate lamps are out, and you made a real wide turn.
A field sobriety test reveals the driver had a little to drink, but he's under the legal limit. A search of his car, well, it uncovers drugs.
Whose weed is that?
The stop turns into a family affair, putting our troopers on high alert.
Some family members and friends that wanted to know what was going on, so we had to be aware of who was approaching us while we were running him through field sobriety tests.
Just minutes after this stop, we pull over a car for not using a turn signal. The passenger in the car drinks from a bottle inside a plastic bag.
Did you know she was drinking alcohol in the vehicle?
We did 3 stops in just under an hour, and that's just the nature of the nighttime beast.
There's a little more to get into at night, a little more going on as far as crimes being committed and vehicle and traffic violations.
And Katie, I'll tell you what, whoever is brought through the doors of this ER is in good hands. The staff in this department works 12-hour shifts, just like these residents right here. And during that entire time, they are literally ready to go within seconds of a patient coming in. And we saw all of that firsthand.
Don't be scared, you're in good hands.
The good hands of the staff inside the emergency department that have been trained to work when every moment counts.
Overnight, we see some more critical patients in terms of accidents or assault. So we'll see a lot of gunshot wounds or stabbings. Some nights we have a ton of patients. Some nights it's a little bit slower.
We are surrounded inside ECMC's emergency department by doctors, residents, nurses, and technicians taking care of 17 patients admitted through the night.
No head injury, no loss of consciousness.
The patients were in from anything ranging from back pain because of a fall to a heroin overdose. Just seconds into our interview with Dawn Giordano, a clinical research nurse in charge of training, our first trauma of the night came rushing in.
What's the ETA? 3 minutes. It's coming up on the ramp now.
The patient, a victim of assault, quickly wheeled into a trauma room. The room swarming with staff, but each person inside knows exactly what to do.
One person's managing the airway. One person's, managing IV access. Somebody's putting them on the monitor. Somebody's obtaining vital signs.
After a quick assessment,
No contusions or brain.
the patient is wheeled to get a CT scan to check for internal injuries, then to X-ray to check for any broken bones, and the staff kind and reassuring each step of the way.
All right, let me give you this meds, buddy.
This one trauma, a model for how every patient is treated.
Our goal at ECMC is to approach every trauma in the exact same way.